Falefatu, Pula, Maloni, Malolele, Kia ora, Kia orana, Aloha, Talofa, and welcome to another episode of our Tagaloa tradition teachings, where we unveil the ethics, the principles, and the moral values of our spirituality that are woven into our culture. So you see, when we live our culture on a daily basis, we are actually practicing our spirituality, which was how our ancestors lived their lives back in the day. This week, we'll be talking about acceptance. But before we do, I want to touch on the mission of Tagaloa tradition. Tagaloa tradition started some 15, close to 2 decades ago, online. And our mission was to decolonize. And we want to join forces with other groups and organizations out there who are doing the work of decolonization. But our work is from the other side of the coin, because we're focusing and concentrating on decolonizing spiritually. Most of the organizations and bodies out there, they are decolonizing the mental, the mindset, and the physical part of decolonization. Us, we focus on the spirituality. Because when the white man came, they brought their God and dethroned the God that was sitting in your soul and in my heart. And ever since then, that is the God that is sitting in most of us in Moana. But to be able to do the decolonizing mentally and physically, we must first decolonize spiritually, because every thought is filtered through your heart, and every action before you do goes through the emotions of the heart. And as long as what is sitting in your heart is the blue-eyed, blonde-hair God that the missionaries brought, decolonization in any other sense is working futile. That's why it's very important, in my opinion, and the opinion of us at Tagaloa tradition, that we decolonize our souls, decolonize spiritually. Then decolonizing mentally and physically will come just like that. Acceptance. What is acceptance? Acceptance is agreeing to something that you don't agree with, but you do it anyway because you've come to accept it. Acceptance. So there is, hearing it from that perspective, there is an element of a give and take, because you don't agree with it, so you're giving into that, and you're saying, okay, that's your sacrifice, giving into it. And what you get back is the benefit, usually for the community. So there is that element of give and take. Acceptance too calls for a practice in patience. Acceptance calls for the practice of humility, because now that you've done away with what you think is right, you've done away with what you agree with, but you've agreed to do that which you don't agree with, but you're doing it anyway because you've come to accept it. A few things happened in Moana this week that I thought I will bring to your attention, because there is an element of acceptance in all these events. First of all, at the beginning of the week, I saw our brothers and sisters in the Cook Islands, in Rarotonga, farewelling the voyaging canoe that set sail for Hawaii. I think they stopped at another island, but that is the final destination, is Hawaii. They're going to Hawaii for the Pacific Arts Festival. And then I posted something a couple of weeks ago when I first heard of it, them preparing to sail to the Pacific Arts Festival. And I said something to the effect that, wouldn't it be nice celebrating the Pacific, or Moana, I would like to see it happen, Moana Arts Festival, with all of us, the island nations of Moana, sailing in on our voyaging canoes. And I'm pretty sure, I hope that I planted the seed so that the next one, that's what is going to happen. That'll be a sight to behold. And then we are doing the festivals and the festivities, and out in the water park our voyaging canoes. If everyone comes, there'll be dozens, over a dozen, maybe a score of voyaging canoes out there. And we go in and celebrate, we do our dances, we do our whatever, and we look out. And that was a very positive thing. It's because we've accepted who we are. Even though we're living in this modern world of modern technology, and everything now is instant, coffee, everything is like that. Whereas in the old days, everything is a grind, and that's why it tastes better. So even though we're in this world of technology, we have come to accept who we are, that we are the sons and daughters of Moana. We are voyagers. That's the statement that I got from watching that. And then a couple of days ago, the actual ceremony happened. And the young people that were there, they did the dance, the haka. And you can tell they felt, these are young people feeling the indigeneity of the occasion and the indigeneity that is in them. And it's coming out in the way they dance and they throw their hands and everything. Acceptance. Even though we're in the world of modern technology, we still accept and we hold on that we are the sons and daughters of Moana. We are descendants of voyagers. And that's what that meant for me. And then the guy who led the dance, he was interviewed, and then he said, I am privileged to lead this dance today, but I am looking forward to the day that I not lead the dance, but lead the voyaging canoe when I go on the voyage of my life. Doesn't that make you feel proud of our young people? To hear that, it puts acceptance in a different sphere. Doesn't matter who you are, you never lose yourself. You don't become that because you've accepted the fact that, no, I'm not. I am Moana. I am the son, I am the daughter of Moana. Acceptance. Then something else happened in Moana. I was privy to find the information. I was looking, and there was posts about something that's happening in New Caledonia. I think you can Google and find out if you haven't heard. If you have, then you understand. These are the indigenous people of New Caledonia not accepting anymore, because apparently France took over New Caledonia close to 2 centuries ago. It's about 170 plus years ago. And all that span of time, they were accepting these people that have taken over them. And it's got something to do with the voting. I think before, what's happening now is there's going to be more French people in New Caledonia. So the actual indigenous voice is suppressed somewhat because there's less of them and more of the French people. Something like that. But that's how it was. It is. And so they're complaining. And now they've come to not accept it. They've run out of patience. They've run out of humility. Because the other side, there's always that thing that we say, sometimes if we don't say anything, that they think what they're doing is right. But I'm glad they're saying something now. And the riots, they're rioting, they're making their voices heard, and good on them. It's a movement, and good on them. And I ask not to pray, but I ask to keep New Caledonians, brothers and sisters, in your thoughts. Think of them. I know we're not there with them, but just think, meditate, consciousness that we are there with them in spirit, so they feel that the whole continent of Moana is with them. Acceptance. Sometimes our patience runs out. The humility has had enough. And it's good. It's good. Then the last thing here in Moana that I want to talk about, on the 19th of April, a few weeks ago, was the day that the exiles from Samoa were set sail for Saipan, where they were exiled for 6 years. Here again, acceptance. You see, the foreign rule that administers and took over Samoa at the time, Lauaki and the Matais of Savaii did not accept it. They said, no, this is ours, this is who we are, this is Moana. It's not Europe, this is Moana. This is how we do things. And so they rebelled against it. And before I forget, let me read something out in terms of the Maupule. See, the Maupule happened in 1908. There was a march in India led by Mahatma Gandhi. It's called the Salt March, conducted non-violent movement against the rule of the imperial powers. Now the Maupule was our movement against the rule of the German administration. The Salt March was the movement of India against the British people. And also there is the Martin Luther King Civil March in 1965, exactly the same. But you see, these marches, these movements came later. Ours happened in 1908. Almost 3 decades after that, the movement in India happened. And then 60 years later, after India, was the movement in America, civil rights movement. What I'm saying is, see, America really is part of the Commonwealth at the time, because they were under British rule or occupied by British people. So they know the history of the Commonwealth. India knows the history. So they must have heard of Lauaki and the Maupule, and I swear they did. And those two movements, the Salt March in India and the Civil Rights Movement in America, I swear, there's something they heard about this movement in Samoa in 1908, and they followed suit. I like that. I used to say, tell our story. Nobody else is going to tell this story. I'm telling it for Moana, for our ancestors, because it's something that needs to be told. India, huge country, billions of people. America, supposed to be the wealthiest country, billions of people. Samoa, just a little place. But because they stood up and say, we're not going to accept this, it's a movement that has ripple effect throughout the world, like it did in India and in America. And those are the things that happened in our region, in Moana, in terms of acceptance. And I hope that can be a guiding light for us in our voyage this week. Accept what needs to be accepted, even though it disagrees with how you feel and what you think. But if it's for the betterment of humanity, then accept. But time will tell, and the inner you will speak, and that voice will come and say, enough is enough. And then that's when you say, no, we don't accept this anymore. It's been going on for too long. It's got to stop. That's what Nawaki did. And that's what our brothers and sisters in New Caledonia are saying. And celebrating our spirit of acceptance. That's what our brothers and sisters at Rarotonga did. Accepting that we are indigenous people of Moana. Say it loud, say it clear, that you're proud of who you are, a son and a daughter of Moana. Until next Sunday, stay blessed and so long.